Debauchery. Seven of Cups. What do we have here? Three of Wands. Five of Wands. Six of Wands. Six of Cups. We have the World. And we have Justice on top. Wow. Wow. Look at this turnaround game right here. Sometimes you have to fight your way out of a bad place. It's not easy. It's like, what are you willing to fight for? Are you willing to fight for your freedom? Are you willing to fight for your sanity? Are you willing to fight for peace? What are you willing to go up against to get out of this scenario and still grow? Returning to one's roots and recognition on the bottom. So these are two sixes. This is obviously after the five, but fives are changes and sixes are starting to improve. So you're returning to your roots about something. There's a lot of yes cards here except for one, which is the Five of Wands. And I'm sure the Seven of Cups is a no. But everything else is a yes. And when you have the right foresight, right, as this card says, to get out of conflict, you're going to have to fight for it, because nothing comes easy in this world, at least not something that is worth it in the end. So in order to get to the world, in order to get to your achievement and completion, sense of belonging, and having the justice that you are looking for in love and maybe in some sort of action, recognition here, there's something about returning to your roots. What did you like to do as a child? Did you have certain hobbies as a child or a teenager that you really loved doing that you do not do any longer? Maybe there's some sort of discovery or self-discovery or going back to your roots about something that you used to love. Maybe it will bring you joy again. It looks like you'll get some sort of recognition for this. You might be moving abroad. You might be just moving locations, or just some kind of, planning forward, right? Like you're moving forward in your mind. Coming from conflict, debauchery, growing from a place that wasn't nurturing. There is justice, just karmic justice here, that's showing you that you will have justice in getting, the good part of life as well. 21 and 11 on the top. Everything has a lesson, good and bad. And if you go through a lot of bad lessons, exiting is also a lesson in itself. And learning how to exit wisely is really important, depending on whatever scenario you're in. But it looks like you're going to achieve this and be very successful in this, and there will be some sort of karmic justice that's going to come back to you because you remained honest and truthful to yourself. And sometimes in order to be truthful to yourself or take care of yourself, you have to remove yourself from a place that isn't nurturing. Flowers don't really grow in desolate places, right? It's not about the flower, it's about its environment sometimes. Right? The flower wants to grow. The flower is beautiful on its own already, even from seed. But in order for it to flourish, in order for it to really be the best that it can be, it needs to be grown in the right environment. Does it mean that you can grow from a desolate place? Of course you can, but it's highly unlikely. It makes life a lot harder, but it doesn't mean that it's impossible. So people that feel like they're in an impossible situation know that everything is possible, but you are the one that has to get out of this conflict, to leave, plan ahead, get out of the conflict, return to something that makes you happy. And people always look for other people to recognize them. But I'm not getting that from this card. Usually it means like there's someone that's picking you out of a crowd. But right now I'm getting you're picking yourself, and you're starting to recognize yourself again. If you lose yourself in a relationship for too long and you forget who you actually are, what actually makes you happy, what you like to do on your own, if you haven't had that time for yourself in a long time, you have to rediscover who you are. Maybe that's returning to your roots, something that's going to fill up your heart again, you know? Childlike influences, innocence, kindness, goodwill, youth, being creative, being youthful, you know, and the way that you play with life again. In order to be able to be in this beautiful energy to play, remember when people would just knock on your door and ask you to play? Like, hey, you want to play? And as a kid, you're like, yeah, I want to play, you know, and then that was literally it. And then everything else was, you know, was figure outable with our imaginations. But with this card, I'm actually getting that you're choosing yourself, and that is the most empowering thing that you could do for yourself, because once you can really enjoy yourself and love yourself, like truly actually love who you are, all the quirks, all the bad things too, because you're learning to grow and you're learning to improve yourself constantly. You're going to have justice, and the World card is going to meet you where you are. What does it say? What I've been working for is already, what does this say? What I've been working for is already done. You create your karma, you create your future by the choices that you make. Having foresight, having a planning attitude is going to help you, you know, become, recognizing yourself again for who you are, recognizing what makes you happy besides other people. You can't look to other people to make you happy. You have to look within yourself to grow. And that's how you're going to get it, going back to your roots somehow. Staying away from conflict and fighting. Why fight? Why do we need to fight? You're going to waste all your energy, your spare time, all the spare time that you might have. You're going to waste it on fighting with people? What a waste of time and energy. We only have so little time on this earth. Why are we going to waste it fighting with ridiculous people that like conflict, right? Why put yourself through more struggle? You're leaving that, and you're going to have justice for that.